Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. This channel is all about me bringing forward messages from spirit guides or me sharing past lifetime experiences with you or a lot of what I've been sharing recently is experiences where I'm like interacting with a guide. So I want to tell you what their energy feels like. I want to tell you, what things are saying to me, but then they're also usually channeling a message with that as well. So I have for you today a message with Quan-Yin, or I guess I shouldn't even say a message. 'Cause I don't even remember if there's a message in here. It was an experience that I had with Quan-Yin. Quan-Yin is she's a goddess that is closely tied into, I'm going to say, many different Asian cultures. I think she's originally from the Chinese culture, but I could be wrong. Um, yeah, you know what? I don't even think I channel a message from her. I think this is just literally her and I talking things out. And what I want to do, if you're familiar with Kuan Yin or if you're not familiar with Kuan Yin, I want to take a moment to invite her energy in to this video so that while you're watching this video, you have an opportunity to get to know her better. Um, and this might look different for different people. If you are sensitive enough to energy that you can feel things, then you'll get a really great surprise because she has a really uh, beautiful, compassionate, loving energy. She's a goddess, so goddesses are supposed to be light and dark, but honestly, I don't feel it. I don't feel any darkness on her. So she's just developed her soul in a way where she prefers to have a lot of light. I want to show you this. This is Amanda Ellis's Quan Yin spray. And so this says it's for Mercy and Compassion Ascended Master Spray. I want to spray this right now. I know you can't smell it, but here's the really cool thing about energy. If somebody is introducing a smell, every scent has a frequency. You don't need to be able to smell it to benefit from it. Um, the beauty of this kind of technology is that um, even if I show you a picture of something, you can get the energy from the picture, even if you're not holding it in your hand. Just like you can get the energy of my words because I have my guides within me speaking through me for a lot of this. And so you can receive the energy and the benefit of their energy just through listening. You don't have to be in the same room with me, and you don't have to smell the Kuan Yin spray for it to work for you, for it to do things. So I want to spray this to kind of bring in her energy. That was cool. Okay, so normally that was cool. That was weird. As soon as I smelled it, I could see her. She's being funny, and I'll explain this in a second, but in fact, I'll just show it to you. So see on this label with Kuan Yin, and she's like standing on this pink lotus flower. When I sprayed this, I like saw the pink lotus flower and I could feel her energy. It's a great energy. So she is standing in front of me at whatever distance that is. So I'm just going to ask her for any of you who are interested in having Kuan Yin come spend time with you while we're doing this video. Go ahead and just mentally say yes, or you can say yes out loud. And I'll just ask Kuan Yin to join whoever is open to that. And it doesn't matter if you watch this video 10 years from now or today, you're gonna still feel the experience the same way. Um, she has such good energy. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna pull up my notes so I can talk to you a little bit more about Kuan Yin. I have channeled her before, somewhat recently, although honestly I don't remember what she said to me, not gonna lie. Um, So when I was channeling her this time, she appears to me as this like, beautiful Asian woman, but she's very young. She's like 20. And she's got these white robes on, and the white robes had like this lime green lining on them, right? And so I'm like, okay. So I'm like writing down the description. And she also had a white dragon behind her, which I know at times she's associated with the pink lotus dragon, which is a pink dragon. But I saw a white dragon behind her. And then I looked down at this spray because I happened to have it with me at the time. Check that out. Can you see what she's wearing? She's literally wearing something that's white with like lime green accents. And so so either one of two things, and I'll ask her right now. Either that's honestly, legitimately what she likes to wear, and it was channeled properly when they made this bottle, or she's just messing around with me and trying to get me to laugh because it's kind of funny. She's dressed like the bottle. Um, no, she's being funny. I'm like, is this your outfit? She's like, no. I, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks like a really cool outfit, to be honest. And it kind of makes sense with the color green too, because it's associated with the heart chakra, and the heart's associated with love and compassion. So the colors tie back appropriately to her. Um, so I wanted to talk to her, but she has to clear me of low energy first to raise my vibration higher. So this happens a lot. So a lot of times people think, oh, like I have a pretty high vibration. My vibration's pretty high. Um, but you know what? It fluctuates constantly. So right now it might be here, and 5 minutes from now it might be there, and then somebody might upset you, and it might drop down, and then you have to bring it back up. So it's always moving. Um, but I'm a human being, so my vibration is not always high. I make sure it's high before I channel, before I connect with my guides and try to channel. But even then, they're like, yeah, no, it's not good enough. Let's clear some trauma, which is low vibrational energy. Let's clear some trauma. And then that naturally kind of brings your vibration up. So she does these like sweeping motions with her arm to clear things from me. And she's like so sweet. She like cups my face and she like gives me this love energy. And we're just like, oh, I love you. You're so nice. And then she goes back to working on my energy. There's pressure in the front and back of my heart chakra. And then she's a goddess. And so anytime you're working with like a god or a goddess, they have a lot of power and they are comfortable showing you that they have power. You won't see displays of power from archangels or ascended masters ever. But she's a goddess. So there was like these dark, dense energies on me, and she's just flicking them off. She's like, ugh, like these are just like a little nuisance to her. They're probably horrific for me. She just flicks them away. Um, I see a yellow lotus flower with many petals in my solar plexus, and out from the center of it is the yellow light of the chakra itself. Oh, she did channel a little bit. She said, this is her, you are not separated from love. It only feels that way. Do not forget that it is part of the illusion. You cannot be separated from me. And so when she says, you cannot be separated from me, I have like a soul memory of having heard this from other gods, other goddesses. I don't remember it, but my soul remembers it. It's familiar. And so when she said, you cannot be separated from me, it almost sounded like she took on she embodied all of herself in that moment. So she sounded like male and female. Um, yeah. So Kuan Yin changes into that white dragon that I had seen earlier. She changes into this white dragon, and I feel playful energy from her. The spiritual world continues to challenge my reactions. So I was kind of like, I was trying to be in a good mood this day, but I had my thoughts in the wrong place. And so this is why she's clearing the trauma from me. But also, I'm like very serious. This is like a problem I have. I get too serious. And we like to think serious means we're mature and responsible and we're taking care of business. But the truth is, we can be mature, responsible, and taking care of business and still very lighthearted and silly and happy and joyful. And so I get too serious. And so she's trying to be playful with me, being this white dragon. And I'm like, not having it. I'm like, no, I want to be serious. Um, but that is not what will allow me to see clearly. So when we take on a more serious energy, it drops your vibration. Remember this, it drops your vibration to be serious. So if you're trying to be high vibrational and solve a problem and see it from a higher perspective, quit being so serious with it. That's the first thing you have to do. Um, So she's trying to be like really funny. She's taking these white lotus flowers and she's like placing them around my face and my head. And I'm like just looking at her. And I kind of like part of me, the kid in me wanted to laugh because I thought it was kind of funny. But then like the adult in me is like, no, I don't want to let it go. Right. Because we do that. We get serious and then we're like, no, I want to stay serious. Um, I feel a masculine energy touch my feet, which this is a personal way that guides will interact with me. This won't be with everybody. For me, my chakras on my feet are like a very um like I don't like here's the thing. I actually don't like people touching my feet. I'm like, don't touch my feet. They're too ticklish. Nobody touch my feet. But when a guide touches your feet, it's like they do it perfectly and it feels very nice. And they can do that with anywhere on you. And and so when they touch my feet, it's always like it's a vulnerable spot for me. It's like they do that and because your feet are technically connected back to your root chakra and you know everything with your legs is connected back to your root chakra. Your root chakra is all about safety and security. So they touch my feet and it's almost like a it's like them proving to me I'm safe. I'm gentle. You can trust me. This is a vulnerable spot for you, and I know it, and I'm going to be very gentle with it. Um, but it's a masculine energy that does this. And so in my mind, I'm like, did this change? Like, I asked Metatron, I was like, did somebody else just step in? Is this like a different god? He's like, nope, that's Quan-Yin. And so it's Quan-Yin who always presents to me as this like beautiful feminine energy. And now she's presenting as this very strong, very masculine energy. And so, you know, she's flip flopping back and forth just to remind me that she's more than how I perceive her to be. And this is like a theme that's been coming forward with gods and goddesses. I've had Inari Okami, a Japanese goddess, do the same thing with me recently, where she's like, I'm masculine and feminine. Like, quit trying to box me in. I am everything. Quit trying to label me. And so this is a theme. They're trying to expand my brain. They don't want me to categorize and label them because that's a human thing. We try to simplify things so that we can understand it. But it's kind of harmful because we're trying to make things smaller than they are. I have to accept that I have to accept experiencing gods and goddesses is like the best I can do. We have to experience them and not try to understand them, basically, is the challenge. So suddenly I get this visual of this really strong wind blowing my hair back. And I like close my eyes because it's really strong. And when I open my eyes, the wind stops. Well, the wind stops and then I open my eyes. I'm in another body with long blonde hair and long white robes. I'm standing and facing Kuan Yin. This place feels familiar, though our surroundings have been blocked from much of my visual perception. So this will happen when they don't really want me to see where I am. They want me to have this vague idea, but I'm not allowed to see details. I'll try to look, and it's just kinda blurred out, basically. So we appear like we're amongst clouds, and so for me, this is a symbolic indication that we're in the 12th dimension, and so I'm thinking, "Oh, we must be in the realm of the gods, because that's the only place I've ever been while in the 12th dimension." Um, Usually in the realm of the gods, everything moves in slow motion, but not here, and so I'm like, "Oh, that's strange. That's strange." Whenever we're in the realm of the gods, everyone's like their hair is like I can't even show you. Excuse me for my cough. But yeah, everything's slow motion. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's cool to watch. So I'm just making note. Okay, it's not in slow motion here. That's weird. And then start saying these things to her. I say, "Please do not take me from here." I get emotional. "Please do not take me from here until I get more understanding." I suddenly feel really attached to the location. Like, please don't kick me out of this dimension. I want to understand where I am. I want to sob. I want to cry once I tell her that. And then I'm like, "Man, this is a strong feeling. Are these my feelings? Are these her feelings?" Like, I'm confused. Um I feel into the answer. I'm like trying to figure this out. Are these my feelings? And I'm asking Metatron, and Metatron is saying they are Kuan Yin's feelings that she responded to me saying, "Please don't take me away." Um, so then I'm curious. I'm like, well, gosh, why did she have that reaction? That's a strong reaction. Kuan Yin feels like a white dragon to me now, and my clairvoyance goes dark temporarily. So they block me out so I can't see anything. I consider why she switched into dragon energy. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, so we're in the 12th dimension. She just turned into a dragon. I'm like, are we in the realm of the dragons? And when I say this, I have to like stop what I'm doing because I just start crying because I know that's where we are. Because I'm like, that's why nothing was moving in slow motion because I wasn't in the realm or the dimensions that hold the gods. I was in a different space. And I've never been to that. I've never been to the realm of the dragon. So I was kind of freaking out. And I got really emotional and I just started ugly crying for a while. It took me a second to get myself back together. Because normally I'll kind of like get in one position and I'll channel everything. But I had to get up and walk away. I was like, I have to get up, I have to walk away, I have to drink some water, I have to chill out because it was really strong. My guides have never brought me to the realm of the dragons. Kuan Yin knew I would respond in this way, so she was emotional when I asked to stay until I had more understanding. Like she knows where she's brought me. She knows why I'm saying what I'm saying, even though I don't understand why I said it. And so, whenever I'm taken into the 12th dimension, there's all these restrictions, basically. So, the 12th dimension is, as far as I know, the highest dimension that you can go into um, that is maintaining a high amount of light. After that, if you go into like the 13th or higher, um, it the vibration does not get higher, it gets lower, and it gets lower than um, the fourth dimension. And so it's hard to explain that, but just keep that in your minds. So I'm in the 12th dimension. A lot of times they don't allow me to see very much, or what I see seems very symbolic. However, it truly looks there is blocked from me because I want to say it's none of my business. It's not that it's none of my business or none of our business, but I don't think I don't think our 3D brain can understand and appreciate what it's like there, and so they just have to give me, like, analogies. They're like, "Look, there's fluffy clouds. This is a lovely place," that kind of thing. So I told Quan-Yin I got really weird. I started behaving not like myself at all, and I was like, "I wanna stay as long as I want." Like, I was trying to be demanding with her even though I was like, "Man, I feel like a little kid right now." I feel like a little kid trying to get their way, but I know Quan-Yin can just, like, kick me out, but I'm, like, trying to convince her to let me stay, so it was really strange. So I did that, and when I told her I wanna stay as long as I want, I tensed up all my muscles so tightly that I was almost shaking. And I'm like, "What in the world is this?" And so I'm, like, watching myself, and I'm like, "Why am I behaving?" It's like, this is how I'm behaving, but it's almost like part of me is watching how I'm behaving, going, "That's weird." I'm fearful of having to leave the realm of the dragons. I'm trying to hide my fear and perceived weakness from her. And then I start thinking about it and I'm like, this has to be a past life experience. Like I'm behaving like automatically in a way that makes no sense to the current situation. That's a sign that you're tapping into past life trauma and you're repeating what you've already done before. Kuan Yin is gentle when she tells me I cannot stay as long as I like. I'm always kind of on my guide's timeline, right? I don't get to choose when I come and go, they do. I take some deep breaths to calm my emotions, and then I decide, you know what? I'm going to change my perspective. As long as I'm here, I'm just going to try to get as much information as I can. And so suddenly I feel like all these energies clearing off of me, lifting off of me. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was trauma related to how I had responded to her and the past lifetime I was tapping into. So she's trying to clear me, and I'm like, I don't care that you're clearing me. I just need to know whatever I can about this realm. And I said, "Are you going to show me anything here?" And she tells me no. And I got so disappointed that I wanted to cry again. I'm like, okay, try not to cry, try not to cry. Um, and then I asked her, "Are you only here to clear me? Like, did you bring me up here just to clear me?" And she says, "There is more than that. There is something for you to know." And I was kind of angry and defiant with her because she says, "There is something for you to know." And I said, "To know that I belong here?" Like, I was angry. I was like, "I know I belong here, and you're gonna kick me out." That was my energy. I say this bitterly to her. I feel the sting that I will soon be pulled away. And then I like shake it off and then I get back into my normal mind and I'm like, "I'm sorry, Kuan Yin. I do not know why I'm behaving like this. This is strange. I don't want to be this way with you. I feel anger that is not related to this lifetime, attached to this scenario. The emotions are too strong. So I know it's a past life trauma surfacing. I sense there was a time when I left the dragon realm against my will. And so I asked Kuan Yin, so did you only bring me here to like pull up some trauma? I feel vulnerable, still wishing to stay. She hesitates for a long time and appears before me as an Asian woman in long white robes again. I am full of disappointment, and she kneels down to where I am now sitting on the floor. And so when she kneels down to me, I suddenly see myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a little boy. I am a little boy with like crazy wild blonde hair all over the place. And I have like jewelry on my forehead and I just look like a wild child. And so yeah, I had no shirt on. A little kid, bare chest. Um I say that I look like I either grew up in a jungle or I'm like a lost boy from Never Never Land. Um, I am with a dragon, this long white dragon that I've seen before that I'm very familiar with. His name is Al M. Um, and so that dragon is like my BFF. He's my comfort dragon. And so I see this and I know I'm in the 12th. So I know I'm in the 12th dimension. There's no incarnation in the 12th dimension. No, there are no planets, there are no physical bodies, there's no physical matter above the 7th dimension. It's not possible. So I know I'm in the 12th. I see a body, I see a dragon, so I'm like, "Oh, this is like in between lifetimes. This isn't a past life. This is in between lives." And so how I look is not a physical body, it's how I'm choosing to project my image, right? Because we're all just energy bodies up there. And so I'm choosing to look like a little boy. So that's how I look. So I know, okay, this is how I looked in the in between lifetime when I got kicked out of the realm of the dragons. And so I look at Kuan Yin and I try to understand. I'm like, what did I do to get kicked out? Like, what happened? And then she gives me this knowing. And I said, did I leave because somebody else had to leave and I was like going with them? And I see Archangel Michael's soul, who I'm with constantly, in lifetimes and out of lifetimes. And so I see Archangel Michael's soul as a little boy, same age as me, pretty much looks just like me, darker hair, but we're hanging out together and we are like best friends. And then I start getting more information, and I'm being told a Greek god summoned Michael, or I mean, it's not Michael, it's a version of Archangel Michael, is in this little boy. And so this some one of the Greek gods was like, "You have to come. You got to leave where you are. You have to come." And so I'm like wondering, like, was this Zeus or something? Like, who has the power to do that? And when I said, "Is it Zeus?" I kid you not, I felt flames come up all around me, and it's hard to explain, but energetically you can feel things like that without feeling any heat. You can just sense what is there. But I felt the flames, but I also felt the heat, and it was hot, and that was weird. And so as soon as that happened, I was like, Greek god of the underworld. And so I was like, is this Hades? And then I was having this freak out moment because I I literally turned to Metatron. I was like, is that guy real? Because I for some reason I have the hardest time with accepting gods and goddesses, and I always have since the very beginning. And that's a whole nother story. But my brain was like, there's no way Hades is real. And my soul was like, of course Hades is real. Like, if Zeus is real, of course Hades is real. But it was a crazy moment for me. And so basically, so Archangel Michael's soul, or this version of Archangel Michael, that little boy that I was best friends with, had some kind of contract with Hades. And so Hades like owned him. Hades was like, you come. And so he had to go. And I'm best friends with this little boy. So I'm like, I'm not leaving you alone. I'm going with you too. We have to be together. And so we both went. But um, what I realized is that when I was being defensive with Kuan Yin, that was probably the things I said to Hades. Hades probably showed up and was like, come with me. And I was probably like, no, we're going to stay here. This is what's going on. I was probably trying to intimidate Hades, right? And Hades was like, yeah, we're going. I'm taking them. And so I ended up going too. So this was like a significant trauma for me because when they showed me this, it really brought up like emotional pain for me. And so Kuan Yin, that's the end of the in between lifetime that she shows me. Kuan Yin turns back into the white dragon, and she's really big, and her head is like as big as my whole body. And I just go over to her and I just kind of like lean against her forehead, and I'm just upset. I'm just like I feel worn out. I feel depleted. I'm like, what did you just show me? This is horrible. And so Kuan Yin is wonderful. So she just like radiates this really quiet comfort. And whatever that trauma was from a long time ago because it felt so ancient. It felt like she dug really deep into my soul's past and found something very buried and was like, "You betcha you never knew you had this trauma." But she did that so she could clear it because a lot of times with trauma, well, not a lot of times, sometimes with trauma, we need to be aware of it in order to feel the emotions, in order for it to pass. Because if we don't feel the emotions associated with the trauma does not leave. Doesn't matter if it's this lifetime or 500 lifetimes ago or whatever. So that's why it's so important if you recognize that you feel angry or you feel sad, or any emotions that come up in you that are unpleasant. It's so important for you to allow yourself to feel the emotions so that you can process it, so that it can be released. But also simultaneously, you want to make sure that you're not making choices or taking action based on those emotions because those emotions are not the truth. Those emotions are like a little snapshot of something that happened. And so you don't want to make decisions off of those emotions. You want to feel it, respect that you need to be angry or you need to be sad or jealous or whatever the feeling is. And then once you get more balanced in your energy, then you can make decisions of, what you want to do with things. Okay. Yeah. So this one messed me up really bad because she, once I felt the emotions, then whatever it was could truly lift up out of me. And it felt really uncomfortable. It felt really uncomfortable for hours, which is like, that never happens. Hours and hours of feeling uncomfortable. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed because it was nighttime. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to bother trying to channel more. I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm just going to sleep this off. And that's what I did. Um, and so this is kind of just a strange and different experience of mine with Kuan Yin, but really cool that we can interact with these guides and they can choose to bring these traumas to the surface for us. So, since I invited Kuan Yin to join any of you who were willing and able, you may feel or notice that something is triggered in you in the next 24 to 48 hours because Kuan Yin, you invited her in and she's going to try to help you. So she's going to try to pull up whatever trauma she can to help you process it. So you don't necessarily need to see what this past lifetime is. She's, based on whatever your psychic abilities are, that's what she's going to do for you. So if you are not able to communicate with your guides at all, that's fine. She's going to choose the traumas that you don't need to know about. She's just going to bring them to the surface so you can feel what you need to feel and so you can heal. And when you heal, your heart gets stronger, you love more, you're more compassionate, and your vibration goes up. So, okay, guys, this is everything that I have for you. If you are interested in having Orange Light Energy, which is my business, assist you with removing trauma, we have lots of different services that potentially could suit you. Feel free to reach out to us at any point. And if you want us to consult with our guides to see what service would be best for you, we are more than happy to do that. Okay, this is what I have for you. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.